Thank you, patrons. What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith, and today on the channel, it's time for a book haul. Past time actually looking at this stack of books, I'm going to run through all of the new book beauties that are going to be added to the Nerdy Narrative library behind me. And these are also books that you might have seen where I've already read and reviewed them. Others are going to be read and reviewed in the coming weeks and months. So let's just dive right in. I want to start with, I've got 4 stacks here. Let's just go with the stacks that I've gotten from publishers. These are books that I myself requested from the publisher. There may be 1 or 2 where they contacted me, but for the most part, it's me going to them shamelessly begging to get a copy of the book or arc to read and review for y'all. The first one I actually just got out of the mailbox. I already know what it is because I've seen some recent pictures going up on Twitter of other reviewers receiving these, and I'm so excited, please. It is so beautiful. This is A Kingdom of Lies by Ben Alderson. This is the second book in the Realm of Fae series. I recently read the first one, A Betrayal of Storms. I'll link the review so you can find it down in the description box below. Loved it. It was a surprise hit for me. 5 stars. I cannot wait to read this book. Oh, the scent definitely does not match the beautiful writing style of this author, so very much looking forward to reading this one. Huge thank you to my friends at Angry Robot Books for granting my request to get a hold of this one. So excited. If this beautiful cover caught your attention and you're interested in the series, it's a romantasy series about Robin Vale, who is half human, half fae. Turns out he is the lost heir to the Winter Court of the Fae realm, and he's just been thrown into this crazy world that's been on the brink of war, all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm sure this book is going to continue with more of the same. Next in the pile is The Land of the Living and the Dead, which is the 3rd book in the Gale Song trilogy by Shauna Lawless. The author herself actually contacted me. She knew I was reading this series. I've read and reviewed both of the books in the series, plus the 2 novellas. She messaged me and said her publisher had a few extra copies and did I want one? I said, yes, I do. Even though I'd already pre-ordered the audiobook, I wanted to have this beautiful copy. I love to immersion read. It really helps me when you're reading stuff like The Land of the Living and the Dead. It's a great example. This is an Irish historical fantasy series. The names and places just, when you look at them with your eyes, they don't make sense. Not to someone like me, but having an audiobook narrator pronounce me and teach me how the different consonants and such and the little way that the letters are tilted or have lines through or accent marks, that comes in so much handy to have the audiobook to go with it. Now, I believe the rest of this pile are all books that I myself asked for. Let's go on a Blackstone publishing kick here for just a moment. I read the description for this one, The Widow on Dwyer Court by Lisa Kucel. The little teaser on the back says that this one is a sexy psychological thriller that will leave you breathless. That sounded really good to me. The title is what initially grabbed me because I had a dear friend named Sharon Dwyer who passed away tragically last year, so I saw her name in this title and I thought, I just really want to read that one. I also asked for this one. It's called American Ghoul by Michelle McGill Vargas. You can't kill someone who's already dead. This book definitely combines horror and social commentary with a dash of buddy comedy. That right there, buddy comedy, I guarantee you that's what I read in the description. That's why I asked for this one. And an innovative twist on the vampire genre. Okay, if the buddy comedy hadn't been enough to grab me, the vampire twist absolutely had me going on that one. Next, from Blackstone Publishing, I asked for and received The Helper by M.M. DeWill. The Helper is not a ghost story, but it will haunt you. The author has conjured a fever dream about the awful things that good people will do when life takes away all other options. Like a slow-motion car wreck, to borrow one of his metaphors, it's difficult to look away and even harder to forget. What in the world? Oh, another addictive psychological thriller. Y'all, I've just been really enjoying some thrillers lately. And then my last one here from Blackstone Publishing is called First Do No Harm from Joe Kenda. Now, I know this author has some other books out there. I think they're related, but this one is a standalone. Let's see. Former homicide detective and star of Investigation Discovery, Joe Kenda follows his authentic and fascinating debut novel with First Do No Harm, another addictive tale of crime and punishment as only he can tell it. Okay, wow. So I am very intrigued by this one. I hope that it's written in an accessible way. I read a crime thriller earlier this year that was by another former homicide detective, and it was just not good. Oh, I got a little ahead of myself. So I showed you A Kingdom of Lies earlier. This is the first book in that series, and it was amazing. I am so excited. These covers are so beautiful, and I actually know what they mean now. I know why they look the way they do. So the first book, we end up in the autumn realm of the Fae. I'm guessing that the second book is going to take us to the winter realm of the Fae. I'm so excited. Another crime thriller novel here, Marshall Karp's newest one, also from Blackstone Publishing. This is Don't Tell Me How to Die. I was so confused. So the ARC says available November 5th, 2024. I pulled this one out to read it the other day and went to write down some notes about it in my reading journal and saw that it's not coming out until March of 2025. So I put it on hold so I could read it closer to publication date, put my review out then so that it'll be fresh enough in your minds. And if you see the review and you're like, oh, that sounds like a great book, you won't have long to wait before you pick it up. The first few chapters that I did read before I realized that were really good. I'm excited to get back to it. This one I think is going to have a lot of humor to it. The mayor of this town finds out that she has the same blood disease that killed her mother, and so now she's on borrowed time, and she's decided that she is going to find her own replacement that will be the stepmother to her kids and her husband's second wife. So I'm looking forward to finding out how that's going to go. But it started out in the first chapter, a local weatherman, he's outside of a hospital that's running on generators because the power went out. It's a torrential rainfall, and then that's when this body comes to the surface in the little pond behind him. I think that one's going to be a hit. And then another one from Angry Robot here I asked for is Valley. It's the third book in the Why Did It Just Leave My Head? It's another trilogy. Stacey McEwen, what is the name of your trilogy? Oh, it's right there on the front. Book 3 of the Glacian trilogy. Whew. That one hurt, y'all. That one hurt. This fantasy romance, just like A Betrayal of Storms, they're called fantasy romances, but the romance complements the plot. It doesn't overshadow it. It's just something that happens naturally, but there's so much more going on. Both of these have a lot of political intrigue in them. I really enjoyed the conclusion to this one, but even so, I'm not going to let it slide for another opportunity to talk about how Stacey McEwen will gut her readers. It still hurts, but it was so good. It was so perfect. And then the last one that I have here that I asked for is from Datura Books, which is part of Angry Robot, but it's their murder mystery imprint. This one's called Honeycomb by S.B. Caves. This one caught my attention because Caroline Lamb, who works for Angry Robot Books, was talking about how good this one was when she read it. 7 days, 6 strangers, 1 experimental drug. Sounds like it might have a bit of a paranormal flair to it. It soon becomes clear that this is no ordinary experiment. Each day, Amanda discovers more about her fellow housemates, that the old mansion holds horrifying secrets, and that there is no way out. I might have to move this one up in priority. That just sounds too good. I have so many good books here. I'm excited to read and talk about, and some of these I've already read and talked about, so y'all are probably going, girl, how long you been sitting on these books doing this book haul? A long time. Too long. Now the next one here is one that I received as a gift. My friend Ev accidentally ordered 2 of these, so she sent me one and we decided we were going to buddy read it together. It's called The Warm Hands of Ghost by Catherine Arden. I'm very excited to read more about this author. This is the author who wrote the Winter Night trilogy, which I adore, and I cannot talk about the Winter Night trilogy without wanting to immediately reread it. Are y'all like that? You think about a book and you're like, man, I want to reread that book again. Ugh. Goodness, let me try this one. Maybe. Let's try this one. Oh yeah, that's the right one. Goldilocks found her book, The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is the only book in this pile that I actually purchased. I've been getting really particular about the books that I purchase these days because books have gotten so doggone expensive. They're almost $30 these days. I don't have that much of my monthly budget to be buying these books, so I have to be really selective, and I was very fortunate to have been able to read the digital arc before this one was published. Some of you might be thinking, Leslie, why did you read the digital arc when you know you had this one pre-ordered? I didn't want to wait. I wanted to know what the end of this one was going to be. Another phenomenal ending. I think, Valley, The Land of the Living and the Dead, and The Fury of the Gods. Yeah, so I had 3 trilogies in this pile where I got the 3rd book and I read them and they were all 5-star reads, actually. How about that? If you're someone who loves Norse-inspired fantasy, I think you would really enjoy John Gwynne, anything that he writes, but my goodness, I do think this might be my favorite of everything he's written. Could that be because it has one of my favorite fantasy characters of all time? Probably. Orca. I love her. She's my favorite fantasy character, my favorite female fantasy character, my favorite mom in a book. Oh my gosh, I would love to have Orca as a mama. She is truly the total package, and if you have not read that one yet, you're missing out. Let's move into books that authors have sent me, and I have one here that I haven't opened yet. Let's do that really quickly if I can, because I am so smart in that I came prepared with stuff to open these. Got my scissors. Let's see. Just got to be careful. I don't want to tear anything up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, what is this? Oh, The Darkness That Came to Illyria, a Dark Tower tribute by Michael Pico. Oh my gosh, oh yay, a bookmark. So Corpse Honey, let's see if I can get that to show up for you. This is a short story collection that I read and reviewed by Michael Pico and loved it, absolutely loved it. I am just over the moon, cannot wait to read this. And then, oh, this one won a book award. It has a shiny gold thing on here. Scenes from the Carnival Lounge by Michael J. Pico. Look at that cover. That is badass. That would be an awesome tattoo. So what do we have here? Another cool bookmark. So is this short stories? Yes. Oh, that is a really cool title. Oh yeah, I am definitely going to have a good time with this one. What scares you? Let's consider fear for a moment. Fear strikes in many ways. It titillates, it terrifies, it can be prosaic or sublime. It's grim, gritty, seedy, and dark. Fear can be subtle, something that bubbles just under the surface of our perception. It can linger for years or effervescence before the pages is turned. Maybe that's evervase. Fear transforms, mutates, and evolves. It can be silent and gentle or thundering and vicious. And in large enough doses, fear can kill. But there are fates worse than death. Far, far worse fates indeed. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to tell him I got this in the mail. This is going to be great. I just know. I'm going to have that review of Corpse Honey down in the description box below for y'all to check out. He writes so well and apparently has already won first place book award. Got the shiny gold medal right there. I also have here a new one by Shannon Knight called Domestication. Check out that cover art. Let me turn it so I can get that glare off of it. It's one of those shiny covers. Hopefully y'all can see that. That looks pretty cool. In an eat or be eaten world, domestication is a death sentence. This one's going to be one of those weird horrors, I believe. I have a whole bunch of books by Shannon Knight. I think I might have all of her books actually. 2025 is going to be the year of Shannon Knight. I'm going to be reading a lot of her work and reviewing it here on the channel. So I'm really excited that she was kind enough to go ahead and include this one as well. So that's going to be fun to just explore an author's entire field of work. That should be a really fun experiment. And it's not all the same. I believe she's got some fantasy, some science fiction. This has to be horror. I am very thrilled. And then the last one that I have here to show you guys is called The Boy at Number 9 Whitlock by Elle Stevenson. This novella features a very well-known character if you are familiar with the work of Elle Stevenson. More specifically, anything to do that is related to the Boatmore Butcher, whether you read the Boatmore Butcher in its entirety or if you read the Goners. This is about Matthew Rose, and I'm not going to go into any more detail than that to give anything away if you haven't read either of those books, which I think you would love if you love good horror. I will put the links to those reviews down in the description below, but I am so excited. At first, it was bad parents, bullies, and budding romances. Oh, that romance was so sweet. But the tragic life of young Matthew Rose is about to get much worse, because the boy who lives at number 9 Whitlock is about to meet a demon. Oh my, oh, I bet I know what this is about. Okay, I need to hurry up and get to this. Oh, it has illustrations. That's awesome. So those are all of the new books that I have either been sent from authors or I have asked for from publishers and been granted copies to read and review and share with all of you, with a couple thrown in from friends, and then my one book that I have bought myself. Don't worry, y'all. I have so many books on pre-order that are going to be coming in over the next few months. It seems like spring is going to be a big season as far as authors that are auto-buy for me. I'm going to be getting a lot of books then, but I bet Christmas is going to hold some bookish treasures too. So that's going to do it for me today. I hope you enjoyed seeing what new books that are going to be going on these shelves and books you're going to be hearing about on the channel in the next few weeks. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about these books, I will put reviews for all the ones that I have down below if you want to check that out. But again, any other questions outside of that, just feel free to send me a message on your social media platform of your choice. I'm the Nerdy Narrative, Leslie Smith on all of them. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Huge thank you to all of the wonderful people who support the Nerdy Narrative. Special shout out to the Nerds Radiant, Chad, John, Gail, Amanda, Star, Tara, Ann, Amanda, Andrew, Kate, Ev, and Sharon.